Hi, welcome to another episode of Book Covers DIY. Today I'm going to teach you how to design a book cover for a Victorian or really any period romance novel. So let's get started. So here we are on Canva.com where we design all of our book covers, and today we'll be working on an ebook cover. But if you're in need of a print book cover, you can still watch today's tutorial, take everything you learn, and then hop on over to my full paperback print book cover tutorial, which I'll put the link in the description box below. And that will expand on today's video by showing you how to design for the back cover and the spine of your book. Okay, so let's go ahead and start designing. Here in this middle menu, you should find book cover. If not, you can always come up to the search bar and just type in book cover. It's going to take you to the book cover templates page and click on this first selection, create a blank book cover. It's going to take us over to our design area. I always like to start with a photo or a graphic because that kind of sets the tone for everything else, like the font and even the colors. And today I want to start with an actual photo. Usually we come up here to elements if we're going to use a graphic, but I'm going to come all the way down to photos and click on that selection. If you already have a photo that you'd like to use, instead you can come over here to uploads and it'll take you to your photo library where you can upload your own files. You can also find free stock photos at pixabay.com as well as pexels.com. But today I'm going to make things super simple just by searching right here in Canva. So let's go back to our photos. Okay, so I'm just going to come up to the search bar and I'm going to type in, let's work on a Victorian romance today. So I'm going to type in Victorian. So you can see we have everything from backgrounds to vintage photos to modern photos. Now you'll notice some of these items have a crown. If you hover over them, it'll say Pro. That means these selections are available with the Pro version of Canva, the paid version. If you want to filter those out, come back up here to the search bar and you'll see three little lines to the right. If you click on that, this is your filter menu. You can come down to price, click on free, and then click off to the side. And now you can see it filtered out all of the paid or the pro photos. Now I have Canva Pro, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Okay, and so now we just need to simply find a photo that we like for our cover. You can try some of these vintage photos. You can start with a patterned background if you like. Any image you click on is going to appear over here on your canvas. If you don't want it, you can just come up here to the little trash can and click delete. Here's a nice one here. This is a pro version. You can click on that. Just come over to one of the corners and begin stretching it. And I'm going to stretch the bottom corner and again, and this will give you an idea of what it might look like. So here you can kind of position it in different spots. Make sure and keep in mind that you're going to want to have a book title somewhere. So maybe not directly center. Maybe you would want her over here, and then you could place your book title here and your author name down here. Here's another option. Let me delete this one. Here's another one with that same woman. I'm going to stretch it here and here. Again, I might want to move her off center like that. So you just want to go through here trying out different ones. Here is a great photo right here. I really like this one. Look at that. Can't you just see that being a book cover? That one is a great one. I might go with that one, but I want to keep looking. Let me click on that one. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to go with this close-up one. I'm just going to click on the background, and then I'm going to click the trash can, and now we're left with this one. So now I need to just stretch this photo all the way to the corners. I want to make sure that all of the white is covered, and then I'm going to click off to the side. So now what I'm going to do is I don't want to leave the photo as is. I want to add like a filter or something. So I'm going to click on the photo again, and when I do, I get all of these options up here in this toolbar. I'm going to click on Edit Image, and I'm going to have new tools over here on the left. I'm going to come down to Photogenic, and I'm going to click on See All. So here we are right now on none. And now look over here. As I click on some of these different options, you'll see the tone of the photo change. For instance, down here in the warm section, watch when I click on latte, the whole thing is going to turn sort of a yellowish or sepia color. And again, I'm going to click on Capri, and you can see all of the shadows got much darker. It's a little bit harder to see her hairline now, and half of her face is shaded. So these are all filters you can use on your photo. There's natural filters, warm, cool, vivid, soft, vintage. And then down here we have like mono, which is, our black and white. And then some kind of fun color pop ones, kind of Andy Warhol-ish. I think I like this aura. Let me try hazel. No, aura. Okay. It kind of pulled out some of her skin color and the color of the dress, and it kind of just softened everything up. Okay, so I'm happy with that one. That one again was called aura. It's under the soft category. Now I'm going to click apply. It's going to take us back to the previous menu. And let's see if there's anything else I want to do. Yeah, I'm going to come back up, and here you'll see the manual adjustments. It says adjust, see all. I'm going to go in there and maybe adjust some of these. All right, the first thing I want to do, and guys, this is a huge tip, really good way to punch up your photos and make your book cover more professional, is to add a vignette. So you can usually go in here to the manual adjustments, and right in the middle you'll see vignette. Watch what happens around the four corners as I increase that. So here's before and after. Okay, if you add a vignette to your photos, it immediately makes your book cover more professional. So try to do that as often as you can for actual like photos. I think I also might want to fade it. I'm going to come down here to the bottom, and we have a fade adjustment. You can see if I increase it to 100, it fades it way too much. So I'm going to come back, let's see, maybe 25. We have customized this photo to our own liking. Now let me just come back up to the top and click on adjust. And if for some reason you want to undo everything, you can click right here on restore original, and it will undo everything you did in these adjustments. So now I'm just going to click off to the side. I'm going to click on the photo again just to show you kind of a side by side so you can see what we did. So here's the photo before. You can see it was very dark shadows, things like that. And then here is after. So it's always great to go in and add your own filters and things like that. I'm going to delete that one, and I'm happy with ours. Just kind of gives it sort of an antique or a vintage look to it. All right, so now I want to go in and add our title. I'm going to come over here to this third option on our toolbar that says text. It's going to bring up all of these pre-made title options. Of course, none of these are going to be very cohesive with this theme. These are all very modern looking. So we're just going to come up to the top and click on add a heading. Actually, before we do that, you know what? Let me delete that. It's going to be hard to see the font on here. So I'm going to add a shape, and then we will put our title on top of that shape. And let's click on elements. And then there is a selection that says shapes. We can click on see all if we wanted to. And then you're going to see we have, squares and hearts and things like that. But I think I want to go back. Let's see if there is any kind of Victorian shape. Okay, and then under graphics, I'm going to click on see all. Okay, yes, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Something like this. Okay, I think I like this one down here. So I'm going to click on my selection. It's going to appear over here. So I'm going to stretch it out. And then now I want to change the color. So to do that, there is a little box here. And when you hover over it, it says color. It is currently black, as you can see. But if you click in there, you're going to get all of your different color palettes. And down at the very bottom is just default colors. These are, sort of a basic colors. Right above that, Canva does this really cool thing. Anytime you choose a photo or upload one of your own photos, it automatically creates a color palette from that photo. Here's an image of a woman, and you can see it has taken the colors out from, her dress and her hair and the background and created this color palette. I'm wanting to go more with maybe a red color that's not listed in here, maybe something similar to her lipstick. So I'm going to come up to the top, and you see this little rainbow box with the plus sign. It says add a new color. If you click in there, there are some sliders. For instance, if I want to go over here in the reddish pink tone, I can drag this slider all the way across, and then I can use this slider up here to move along to the different shades. You can see right here the shape is changing. So I can do that. Another thing I can do is I can click on this little eyedropper tool. It says pick a color from the design. And whatever I hover over, this box will change to that color. For instance, let me hover over part of her dress, and once I click it, you can see it change the color of her dress. I'm going to grab that same tool, and this time the color I actually want is maybe a color that is in her lipstick. So I'm going to hover over her lips. You can see all the different shades pixelated on her lips. So you can choose one of the lighter colors which is like one of the highlights. Or you can go back in and go to like the shadowed area and you'll get one of the darker colors. I'm going to go back in maybe one of these medium colors. I'm still not happy with that tone. It's a little bit too pinkish for me. So what I can do is where it is right now, I can just grab this slider and see, I'm wanting something like that, more of a deep crimson. And then I'm going to click off to the side and you can see it complements her lip color and this little, I don't know if it's a butterfly or bow in her hair. So now we're going to click on that text option again and add a heading. Okay, it's going to give us a text box over here. I'm going to drag it down on top of our fancy little shape. And then now let's just think of a title for this. How about romance? Okay, let's call this Romance and Roses. Okay, we're going to start with just the first word, romance, because I'm going to show you it's a lot easier to customize one word and then duplicate it. Okay, so here we have the word romance. I definitely want to change the color because you cannot see this black on the red. Please keep that in mind when designing. Dark on dark, it does not usually stand out. So if you're using a dark background, you'll want to switch to a lighter color text and vice versa. Lighter background, try using a dark text. Okay, first thing I want to do is change the color of this. So I'm going to come up here to this A with the rainbow bar beneath it. That is our text color. If you click in there, you're going to get your color palettes again. We can select one of the colors in this photo palette or one of these default colors down here. Or again, we can go into our add a new color and use the dropper. And let's go with the highlight part of her dress. And now we have sort of this ice blue color. Okay, now we need to choose a font. Please do not leave your font as this default Canva sans. It looks very unprofessional. That is a telltale sign of a self-published book, is this really plain Jane font. I don't want you to go too crazy, something that's hard to read and really outlandish, but we need to find a sensible middle ground. Okay, so let's come up here to Canva Sans, which is the current font, and let's click on there. Now we are going to get a bunch of different font choices over here in our toolbox. As you scroll down, you'll see that some again have the crown, which means those are available with Canva Pro, but there are many choices that are free. For this, I want to go with maybe something cursive like a script, but I want to make sure that you can still read it. Something like this, let me make it larger, is hard to read. So don't choose something that is too hard to read. Okay, this is a nice one here. So I'm just going to go through here and try out. If you look at this, here is a perfect example of something like almost impossible to read. Like you don't know if that's a P or an R. You can't tell the difference between the M's or the N's or the A's. Always keep that in mind because not only is it hard to read when it's zoomed in large like this, but remember, no matter where you list your book, Amazon or any other kind of online marketplace, it's going to be shrunken down to a thumbnail image. And if you can't even read it when it's large, you certainly will not be able to read the title when it is shrunken down. So always make sure you pick a font that is able to be read at a glance and especially at a small size. Okay, I'm kind of liking this one. It's called Alex Brush. I want to see if we can get it to stand out a little bit better on this background. So I'm going to come up here to make sure you have your box checked. Come up here to Effects. We have some new options over here in our toolbox. We can do lots of things like add a shadow. You can see up here's a shadow. Let me zoom in. We can add a lift. We can make the words hollow, or we can add an outline. Things like that. I'm going to go with probably shadow, but you can see the shadow is too far from it, so it makes it hard to read. If you come over here to offset, this is how far it is away from the original word. So right now it's at 50. Look, as I increase it, it's going to get further away. I want to bring it back. So see how it's just slightly to the right of the words. This is the direction. Right now it's at -45. If you want it to go to the left for some reason, you can move it over here. I'm going to put back where it was, -45. Blur is if you want it blurred. This is the transparency. I'm going to increase that, but first I need to change the color because right now I know it looks pink. It's because the transparency is low, so it's showing this red through it. Watch when I increase it to full color, you can see At 100, it's the exact same color as the font because right here it's the same ice blue. So I want to change this. So I'm going to click in there. Let me see about choosing maybe one of these grays. Okay, I kind of like these blue grays. Again, let me zoom out to see how it looks. Okay, I think I like that. All right, now that we have the words the way we like them, let's create our second part of the title, which is "and roses." So I'm going to make this slightly smaller just by dragging in the corner. Okay, and then when we click on our box, we're going to have a small toolbar here with the center is delete. This is more, there's some other options on there like to copy. But I'm just going to click on this first one right here that says duplicate. I'm going to click on there and now we have a second text box already with our font choice and our shadow and everything. So we don't have to start all over again over here on text with add a heading, pick a font, and add the shadow. If you just simply duplicate the first one, you're going to get everything already done for you. So all we have to do is go in and write "and roses," which is the title of our fake Victorian romance novel. Okay, romance and roses. Now I want to add like some roses. So I'm going to come over here to our toolbar and click on the second option, which is elements. And the last thing we searched for was a Victorian shape. I'm going to, these have roses, don't they? Let me click on, I'm going to click on that. Let me kind of see what that looks like. I'm going to come up here. It's hard to see with it being black, so I'm going to come up here to color. And let's just choose that same ice blue that we have in the font that we've already pre-made, which is really cool right here. See, Canva saves your document colors. So these are all the colors that we already have in our design. Right now, I want to see if there's one for the bottom. I can always flip this, but if you look over here, Canva has another really cool feature called Magic Recommendations. When you select a graphic or an image, it often will create this box that will automatically show you other similar graphics. So I'm going to click on See All. I'm going to click on this one. I'm trying to choose one that has sort of a middle center peak here, the way our design does, so it'll fit in there. I want to turn them all to this ice blue. So I changed one of them, but if you notice down here it says change all. It's asking me if I want to change everything that is black to this ice blue. Yes, so I'm going to click change all. All right, and so now all three of those haven't automatically changed. I'm going to set this one aside because now I kind of want to try to see which one looks best because I'm trying to fit it in this center point. Okay, I like this one. It fits perfectly in these little round ones around the edges. Okay, I'm going to see if I can duplicate this and just flip it. So I clicked on the design. I'm going to click on duplicate. It's going to create a second graphic, but I want it to face downward. So I'm going to come up here and you'll see it says flip. Click in there and you're going to have two options. Flip it horizontally, which is just from left to right, or vertically. So I'm going to click on flip vertical and you can see it now is facing downward. Okay, so now we have this same design at the bottom and now I just need to kind of adjust the title. And I'm going to show you how we can join the words together. So I'm going to click on romance. I'm going to hold down shift and click on roses. Now it has put both text boxes into one dotted line box. We can click on group and now they are in a solid purple box. You can see I'll click off to the side and then when I click on them again I can still move them around. We always have the option to ungroup them if we wanted to separate them again. But while they are grouped together, I'm going to grab one corner, stretch it out and center it again. Okay, I think I want to change the color of these roses. So I'm going to click on them again and come up to this ice blue. I kind of want to go with a lighter pink. So let's click on this add a new color, take the eyedropper tool, and let's find one of the lighter shades in her lips. Okay, it's a little bit too pink. So I'm going to come up here to our slider and maybe bring it over kind of like a mauve color or rose color. Okay, so I got it where I want. And I'm going to click off to the side. And then I want to do the same thing with the bottom roses. I'm going to click on those, click on the ice blue. But look, I don't have to use the eyedropper because, again, Canva will save that color. So here it is right here. I'm just going to click on it and it automatically changes. Okay, that's looking better because I wanted the title to stand out on its own. Okay, there's something else I want to do. I want to click on this Victorian shape. The large purple box appears when you have clicked on it. I'm going to duplicate it. And then I'm going to stretch it just a fraction, make it slightly larger. I also want to change it to that like mauve color. So I'm going to click on the color box, and again, there it is right there. I'm going to stretch it a little bit more, and I'm going to center it. I know you're thinking you can't see anything now. Okay, so once I have done that, I've stretched it larger, it covers everything. I'm going to come up here to position. When you click on position, you're going to get two tabs here. This is the arrange tab and layers. I want to click on layers. Here is that mauve shape we just created. I want to bring it down behind or underneath the burgundy layer or the maroon layer. So I'm going to click on it, drag it down, and so you can see it's between the photo of the woman and that burgundy layer, and then I'm going to place it there. And so you can see it created a second shape behind it with this really pretty rose border or mauve border. And that just really helps that burgundy color to stand out. Okay, so now that I'm looking at it, I'm seeing that this box is taking up too much of our design. It's like half and half, and it's overpowering the photo of the woman. So we need to make it smaller. I'm just going to click on, pretty much any element, and then I'm going to come up here to position. Here we're back in our layers. Again, if you clicked and you were in arrange, just click on layers. I want to group everything except the photo, which actually the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that our title is above everything. Okay, so our title is our top layer. Okay, so let's click on our title, hold down shift, click on the bottom roses, keep holding down shift, click on the top roses, the burgundy background, and the mauve or rose background. Okay, so we have everything in the title design, 5 rows of purple, and everything over here is purple. Make sure they're all purple, everything except the photo and our original, background. Let's click on group. So you can see now we only have 3 layers. We have the title layer, the photo, and then our original background. Now we can grab all of this together. It's all in one group. We can always ungroup it and it'll have all of our 5 layers again. So now that we have it all as grouped as one, we need to make it smaller. It's just taking up too much of this book cover. So I'm just going to grab a corner and drag it in. You'll see the solid line appears once it's centered. We want to think of things always kind of in thirds. So if we want her to take up 2/3 of our cover, then this should only take up maybe 1/3. Okay, so now we just need to add our author name. I'm going to just come over here to text, and this time I'm going to click on add a subheading. And let's think of an author name. Let's just say Liz Bennett. We definitely need to change the color. I'm just going to bring it up here, and let's come up to our text color. I'm probably going to just choose this ice blue. Yes, and I'm going to make it smaller, but before we do that, I want to choose a font, a different font from Romance and Roses. So let's come up to Canva Sans, and let's just kind of find a font we like. Okay, let's go with this one, Radiant Condense. You can see that a little bit better. We don't ever want this too big. We don't want to take away from our design. So I'm just going to put the name in this upper corner. You can still read it at a glance. Okay, we're about done with this one, but as always, I like to make a complete second version that allows you to have 2 choices, and not only allows you to have 2 choices, but allows your viewers, your readers, your followers to vote on your final book cover. So I'm going to show you how we can quickly take everything we just did and make a second version of this cover. It's so easy. It'll only take a few minutes. So let me show you how we can quickly duplicate this entire cover. Now down here you'll see it says add a page. If you click on that, it's going to give you another blank page to start all over. We don't want to do that, so I'm going to delete that page. What we want to do is come up to the upper right of this existing book cover design, and we will see in the center it says duplicate page. And if you click on that, you are going to get right here, it says page 2. You're going to get an entire second book cover with everything we just did. See page 1. Scroll down, page 2. This is where we're going to make our second version of this design. So just make sure that you are on page 2 and not page 1. We want to leave everything as it is on page 1. So we're just going to change a few things up on the second page. And the first thing I want to do is I want to make some adjustments to this photo. So I'm going to click on the photo of the woman, And I'm simply going to come up here to the top corner and stretch it. And even though it's stretching over this cover, it's fine. It's not going to, mess it up in any way. And then I'm going to come up to the other corner and stretch it. And even a little bit more right about here. Okay, and then I'm going to center it. So you can see already we've made a huge adjustment by getting rid of the upper portion of her face. So now we have, basically her lips here. I'm going to move this author name over here for right now, just the very bottom. Now, this book title is way too small. So I'm going to bring this up and grab the corner. Remember, it's all still grouped together. While it's all grouped together right now, we're going to go ahead and stretch it all the way to the edge from end to end. Okay, now that we have it where we want it, we're going to click on Ungroup. And now you can see we have 5 purple boxes. If you go up here to Position, and you're under the Layers tab, you're going to see, remember a few minutes ago I showed you we only had 3 layers. Now we have all of our different layers back. I want to change the font on these. I want to actually choose Roller Coaster. And then it's asking me down here, change all. Do I want to change everything that was the Alex brush font to Roller Coaster? Yes, actually I do. So click yes. Okay, so automatically Romance and Roses has now changed to this new Roller Coaster font. You can see it's right there. If you click on that one, yep, it's right there. Okay, so for this one, I like that font. It still has the shadow on it. I think I might get rid of these roses and choose something else. I'm not going to get rid of them yet, but I'm going to go over to Elements. Let's get out of there. Last time we looked up. Let's just type in Rose and see all under Graphics. Kind of like this one right here. I'm going to click on this one. And you can see this black outline of a rose appeared. Let's come up here and change that color to this mauve color we're using. And I want to fit it in here, but at an angle. It is going up and down. But if you can see, there's these 2 little arrows in a circle. That is your pivot. You can pivot it to the left and to the right. And I want to make it larger. Maybe pivot it a little bit more. I want to try to kind of fit it across the center. And then I'm going to lighten its transparency. So I'm going to come up here to the little checkerboard and let's lower the transparency. Let's try 65. Okay, so now I'm going to click on Romance and I'm going to stretch that larger. Let's try right there, 195, and the same thing to Roses. I'm going to stretch it until I can either stretch it until it says 195 or I could go and type it in there. Now that we have that rose, I'm going to get rid of this top and bottom border. So I'm going to delete that one and delete that one. I think I want to make this red a little bit darker, like the darker part of our lipstick. So I'm going to click on that first background. You can see it's sort of burgundy. And I'm just going to click and add a new color. And I'm just going to bring this a little bit down into the darker shades. That's going to help the title to stand out much better. Okay, I want this rose to be a little bit lighter. Let me bring that transparency down even more. Okay, I'm going to bring that down to 50. And I want this background to match. So I'm going to click on this Victorian shape, but I believe it's showing me the burgundy one. See right there? But if I click on Position, yeah, it's showing me that I've gone the burgundy one. I'm going to click on this mauve colored one. I'm going to click on the mauve box and come over here to add a new color. Get the eyedropper tool, and then now I'm going to place it over this rose because we want the background to match the rose, and it's a little bit too light pink right now. So once I click on that, it's going to change. You can see the border change to a little bit of a darker shade that matches that rose in the center. Okay, let me zoom out and see where we are now. Okay, this is looking much better. We have this deeper shade of red that matches the deeper shade in her lips. Okay, so now we need to adjust our author name. Let's bring it up. Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. So there is nothing on the name right now. I've just placed it in this sort of darker shadow part of her sleeve. I'm going to come over here. When I click on lift, you're going to see sort of an overall shadow appear. And then I'm going to increase the intensity to 100. See, here's none and then 100. It's a little bit difficult to see, but it's going to make it kind of a shadow. Okay, and then now I want to bring all of this up again, and it's not grouped together, so let's go ahead and do that. So click on pretty much anything in that area, click on position, and let's go back and grab everything in the title, but not the author's name. See right here, the first top layer is Liz Bennett. We're not going to grab that one. So here's Anne Rose's, hold down Shift, Romance, there's the rose, the burgundy layer, and the mauve layer. We're going to leave out the woman, leave out the author name. So we should again have 5 layers that are highlighted purple, and we have 5 boxes over here. We're going to click on group, and again now we're down to 4 layers. Okay, so now we can just move this by itself. So I just want to move this slightly up. It's a little bit cluttering the author name. Now we can see what this looks like if we use that mauve color, and let's click off to the side. No, I think I like it the way it was. So I'm going to come up here and you see this little back arrow, that's undo. Anytime you mess up or change something and you want to go back, just do undo. This is redo and undo. I'm going to leave it that ice blue. So you can see how just in a matter of minutes we were able to create a completely different design using all of the elements in our first design. Now I'm going to show you how we can download these and check them out side by side. The first thing you always want to do is come up to the top right and add a project title. Let's say this is Romance, or I'm just going to say this is Victorian Romance book covers. Then I'm going to click on Share, and I'm going to come down to Download. It's going to default to PDF standard. You can click in that down arrow and make your changes. I'm just going to choose a PNG, and then I'm going to click download. It's just going to take a few seconds, and since there are 2 designs, it's going to open them in a zip file. So you click on your design or go find it in your downloads, and let's see, here they are. I'm going to click on each PNG and we will compare them. So here we are with our 2 different book cover designs, and guys, now that I'm seeing them side by side, I'm actually very much loving the second design. I loved, sort of the mystery of not seeing her face, and I'm liking this font much better than this one. I'm also liking just the simplicity of this one single rose as opposed to this sort of fancy rose scroll border. But let's check them out. So here's our first design. We can completely see our main character. We added those filters that gave it sort of that vintage washed out look. We have our fancy, Victorian shape here, and our cursive font, and the top and bottom rose border, our book title, Romance and Roses. Then up here we have our author name on this upper corner in this kind of dark void area. And while I really like this design, I am very much loving the second version. And here we darken that shape because when the photo's enlarged, we mostly are seeing the darker part of her lipstick. We're down here, we have a lot of highlighted red in her skin tone, and then in this barrette, where this one has these, deeper dark shades, and it's got a sharper font in it. I would say this one has much more of a mysterious, or it might be even a more steamier romance feel to it than this one, which is softer look to it. So you can see how simply cropping your photo, this is the same photo, it's just cropped differently. See how cropping your photo can completely change your book cover, and also simply changing your font choice can give a book a completely different feel. So that's why it's so important to customize your cover to the contents of your book. Again, your book cover is your first impression on a potential reader. So make sure it reflects what the contents are inside. I don't know about you guys, but if I was voting, I would vote for cover number 2. You tell me in the comment section below. Which one do you like more? Do you like cover 1 or do you like cover 2? That one's my favorite. I really love the way this one turned out. All right. Well, that's it for today. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, please let me know in the comment section below, and feel free to suggest some other book cover styles you'd like to see me create. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to update you about future videos. So thanks again for watching, liking, and subscribing. Until next time, bye-bye.